So I have known about the NHF my entire life. My grandfather was George King with our company, and he was a 2-term president in the 70s. The NHF was just always part of our vocabulary. We always knew the National Hemophilia Foundation.
From where it started in Salem, New Hampshire, to where we are now, I would say that George King would not believe the strides the company has made in all of these years.
We've been a part of many new improvements in the world of bleeding disorders, and it's exciting to know that we've had a hand in it, our little company.
It's been, not to coin a phrase, part of my blood since I can remember growing up, hearing about it again from my grandfather and then my mother, and then working a part of it. It gives us even a more vested interest. So we are going to really work even harder than we would if we were just individuals, because I feel like we have that extra, invested interest.
At the age of 7, I had my tonsils and adenoids removed, and I almost bled to death because it did not clot where the adenoids had been removed. It was very scary for me as a child, but at the time, none of us knew that had anything to do with a bleeding disorder. And then my brother with his nosebleeds, my mother had issues, and it all seemed to come from that side of our family. When we saw all this happening with Ryan, it made it kind of easy for us to see, easier than some of the doctors.
My son, Ryan, he's now 20 years old. He was diagnosed a little late in life at 12 years old. He was the kid that always got bruises very easily, cut all the time, and would bleed for days, and nosebleeds. And I just started thinking something wasn't right, and I took him in to the doctor. I made him do tests, and it came back that Ryan has an untyped von Willebrand's disease. But we are very thankful that he has a treatment that works.
I honestly think it's a huge coincidence that her grandpa got into the business and her great-grandson ends up having a bleeding disorder.
To me, it's a disease like any other disease that a person would have, and it needs to be treated. But it can be debilitating if not treated properly. But if you stay on top of it and treat it properly, you're going to have a very good life. I remember when my father got involved on the local level in Rochester, New York, with the Rochester Hemophilia Foundation. He could see through his involvement there that there was a need for more help for hemophiliacs. And that is how the birth of George King Biomedical came about.
We actually hired a couple of the hemophiliacs from the NHF to come and work in the company. One of our dear friends and donors and employees, Mr. Sam Rulo, at that time was very important to us.
By having plasma from a hemophiliac that would reproduce in them in a very quick amount of time and not harm them, we were able to find help for their treatment later on. So it all just kind of worked off each other, and it turned into a very, very good thing for all concerned.
When I was growing up, you always heard hemophiliacs, couldn't do a lot and they had to be careful because they'd get bleeds in their joints. And now with the progress, of the pharma that's available and the treatments that's available for the folks in the bleeding disorder community, it blows my mind that they're able to do these things.
I think, in 75 years, I think that there's there's been so much more research done. And I attribute so much of that to the NHF and just really pushing for more research and better treatment for people with bleeding disorders.